Hey guys, just a short little tidbit here. So I had a guy ask if the A1 Mini would be a good printer to start with. He's thinking about buying a printer. I would say yes. It is a fantastic little printer. And the last video I showed too, you can still print pretty big, on that bed. Even though it's a small bed, it can still print fairly large parts and things. And if you compare it, you can't really compare that to like a Prusa. You just can't. It's not on the same level, I would think. For the price, right? Like what I have found with the Prusas is that they are very robust, workhorse, proven to just go and go and go, but they do have a big price tag. For the price of the A1 Mini, it's a really decent price. And with the re-release of the A1 when it comes out, it's not too much more really to go to a little bit bigger. The things I do recommend though for anybody that's starting new and they're thinking about getting an A1 or an A1 Mini, being that you're just starting, Bambu is fantastic for a couple of things. One, if you buy the Bambu PLA or any of their products that you're going to use, like any kind of filament, there's a lot of little tweaking and settings and stuff that you have to do sometimes with all these different brands, from Prusament to Anycubic to Creality to Sunlu to eSun to even Amazon branded PLA and PETG and whatnot, that they all have like a different bit of tolerance, I guess, for or micro adjustments that you have to kind of fiddle fart around with to make everything work great and get that perfect first layer. And of course, in your slicing program, whatever you're using, you can save those as presets if they don't already have them. But with Bambu, if you're using Bambu's actual product with their printer, they have like little sensors built right into the wheels, and it automatically detects what filament it's using, and most of all, it will also have it already dialed right in perfectly, right, to work nice and smooth and get that perfect first layer, with that particular product as well, right? If I was going to recommend anything to get with it, definitely get a spare tip. There's another video that I did about that. It's just a good idea to have. Maybe you won't run into the same issues, but at least if you did, you've got that as a backup, right? So that you can continue your print instead of having to hash in and glue two pieces together because the first one didn't finish or whatever the case may be. And also, you would want to get one of the smooth high temp flex sheets as well. The coated ones are nice, right? But sometimes you want to have a smooth surface, and they come double-sided, and they're only, I think, like $34.99 Canadian. So if you're in America, that's even cheaper. It's actually pretty reasonable. But that's my advice. If you were going to start with a new, as your first printer, it's definitely a good printer to start with. If you were to compare to something of equal value or price, like if you're looking at the Enders, like the V2 Pros, I think are around that price. I haven't looked it up, but I know they're pretty close, or maybe just a little bit less. But for that little extra more, which is really not that much for like the Mini, it is immensely easier to use and really well set up, especially for someone that's just starting to print. And it even has a camera. It has everything all built in. and ready to go. You don't have to upgrade it or change anything. It's good to go right out of the box. So that's my advice as far as for beginning with a new printer, the A1 Mini, or even maybe when the A1 comes back out. For their price, you can't go wrong, really. I've printed a lot of stuff with my little A1 Mini. Now, I have had some issues with it, and some of those might have even been my own user, stupidity, maybe. But you run into problems with any printer. There's always going to be fails. There's always going to be things that you're going to learn from, right? So, overall, for what you get out of it for the money that you pay, you can't go wrong. Anyway, that's all I got. Tapping out. I'll see you next time.